You're listening to a main feed episode. Go to patreon.com/Celtic Ligers where €5 a month gets you weekly full-length episodes, stray bonus content and access to the back catalogue. Also helps cover hosting and gives us money for sweeties. Thank you. Celtic Ligers.
Recorded 6th of May 2024 and then the rest on 7th of May 2024.
Paul McCartney's son keeps popping up.
Really?
Yeah. And then, like, he's always just putting out stuff, and it always sounds exactly like the Beatles, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it just sounds like his dad's music. And then he released a collaboration with John Lennon's son.
Mm.
Which, I don't know, it just feels... You need to do your own thing at some point. And here you just have two... Like, these guys are like 50. And they're both...
50?
Yeah, they're like... So old is Paul McCartney?
Yeah, I guess. I didn't think about it like that. I just presumed that they were... I mean, like... I don't know why I thought that they'd be younger, now that you mention it. But, like...
you just hear of, like, son, and you're like...
Let him away with it. He's only 35, but actually 50.
Paul
Even 35. Sorry.
He's 81.
Yeah.
Let's look up, what's his name? John McCartney. Let's look up Paul McCartney's son. And he's also one of those sons who somehow looks older than the dad.
Brother. I saw this thing, just because it's slightly related, but like Jeff Goldblum's like, I'm not going to give my kids any money. They got to make it all on their own, you know? And I was like, that's also not possible either. It's like, well, when you have a celebrity kid, they're like a panda or something that's born in captivity. It's like, no, their fate is sealed. There's nothing that can be done. You just need to put them in like a nice padded room and give them their pellets every day, you know? So that like he's taken care of, and he's like, I'm going to be like my dad and play guitar, and you're just like, yes, you are, you know. And then you just kind of hope the bloodline dies there a little bit, or like at least there's a few people who, oh, he's gone and he's back.
What happened there?
I don't know. He like logged out and logged in again. Did you miss anything that I said? Did you? I don't know. Wouldn't say I missed it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. So they released a song called Primrose Hill.
Yeah.
He was born in 1977.
Yeah.
So how old is that? 45?
Oh God, why do you do this? I fucking
45.
hate, no matter what it is, I hate when people go like, what's this simple sum? I'm like, don't, just please.
Well, you just have to say yes, I think.
Stop hurting me. Violence. I'm like an Israeli on a college campus.
So the article I'm reading is Sean Lennon opens up on working with Paul McCartney's son. And it's trying to be like, you know, he is his own career. As throughout his time in the spotlight, Sean has played with bands such as The Ghost of a Saber-Toothed Tiger and Kibo Matto. He's also released 2 studio albums, the last of which hit the shelves in 2006.
Brother.
So he released a song called Primrose Hill with and they're both like fat, and they're both 45, and they're just copying their dads. And Paul McCartney's 80, but he doesn't look 80. I just find it a very depressing thing. The fail son is very depressing to me.
Yeah. That type of fail son. If it's the fail son of like, one of the Koch brothers, then that's funny. Yeah. But if it's the fail son of somebody who you respect, then you're like, that's horrible.
I think it's through something also depressing about like he's just trying to be his dad, you know?
Yeah.
Like he's just not in any way doing his own thing. But maybe that's Paul McCartney's fault. Maybe Paul McCartney made him do it.
Maybe I kind of would feel that way, to be honest. Like a lot of these people, like let's say you got like, nobody would be like, you've got like a family bakers and you go, what a loser. Why can't that guy just do his own thing? You know? Like,
Yeah.
But it's just this what you know, you show up, you know what I mean? Maybe you enjoy doing it. Maybe it's irrelevant whether you enjoy doing it because it supplements what you actually want to do. But like, when you're born into that situation and then you go into the recording studios and you meet all these people, then I imagine it's probably easy to just be like, fall into that. But yeah.
Yeah, I guess the difference with the baker thing though is that like, actually, the question is, what do you think Sean McCartney, whatever his name is, Paul McCartney's son, what do you think he thinks of his own music? Is he just like, yeah, my dad made the best music, so I'm following the tradition? Or is he like, no, I'm putting my own spin?
No, I'm sure he's not like, I don't think he thinks his music is going to set the world on fire, you know? I think he's just like, this is just what I do. I come in and I clock on and I'm a musician, you know?
Yeah.
And, I don't know whether he's aware enough to feel privileged to do that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I do, from the looks of it, it does feel like kind of like, hey, it's my job. I don't really feel like he's, you know, going. Like Bob Dylan's son apparently would be the opposite. Bob Dylan's son was in like the Hothouse Flowers or something like that.
The Wallflowers.
And he was like, if you saw him performing on stage, he'd be like, yeah, kind of getting into it and like, I'm going out there to be a star and it doesn't matter who my dad is. And you're just like, does like because you sound so bad, it has to matter who your dad is because there's no other fucking reason that you would have. Do you ever like? This is a bit slightly off topic, but like when Henry Rollins was trying to record Charles Manson's album in prison, and then you hear the songs and they're like just generic, terrible songs, and then the only thing that makes them stand apart is if you know who wrote them or made them. Do you know?
Yeah.
I guess I just meant to link that comparing Bob Dylan's son to Charles Manson, but it's the same thing where it's like the music is so unremarkable that the only reason it would be relevant to anybody is just knowing who made it.
So I'm looking at a thing here and it's like Paul McCartney's lookalike son.
Lookalike? Come on. It's doing Paul dirty there.
Makes rare public appearance to support sister at something. And then in all the pictures, it's either Paul with his sister. Oh, sorry, your man with his sister, or Paul McCartney with his daughter. There's none of them all together. And then there's one group photo, but the son is still missing.
Mm-hmm. I'm just looking at pictures of James McCartney, and he really does look like a landlord leaving a courthouse in every single photo.
Yeah. He really does, doesn't he?
Yeah. What I think about these type of guys is they're like milk-fed veal, you know? You can just imagine like a cage and some sort of animal in it, and it's squashed up against the side, all of its fur is falling off. You know? And or maybe it's more like a house cat. Maybe I should be a bit nicer. Just something which is like, oh, that's like fatter than any cat I've ever seen, but seems to be you know, its life is not going to be as long as other cats, but it looks like it's having a good time, whatever.
I think veal was a good way of putting it, though.
All right, I'll cut out that last bit that I said then.
I'm looking at pictures of Sean Lennon now.
I think Sean Lennon is kind of cool, if I remember.
He's cool, but in a incredibly lame way.
Yeah.
Like, you know the way
He looks like Virgil Texas.
he dresses like an aging rock star. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? You know the way they always get really into like scarves and tight leather
Bowler hats.
jackets and stuff. Yeah, they're fun. He dressed like that, but he was never a young rock star.
John Lennon's son, Sean Lennon, wins Oscar. Did you know he won an
For-
Oscar?
Well, for biggest pussy. For biggest
And the
pussy.
award for biggest bitch goes to Sean Ono Lennon. I think that's the other thing that makes him cool is that he's also, his mother is Yoko Ono.
I think that makes him less cool.
I heard his stuff's okay.
Maybe you could put on Primrose Hill. Maybe you could put that as the
Alright.
theme.
We laid on Primrose Hill, didn't know it still. You meant what you said.
I'll do that. Just make a note of that here. What time are we at? I'm going to try and do a unique thing today where we record an episode and I just release it and I don't do any changes or anything.
Okay.
You sound like you don't believe me.
I don't. I never really got what Yoko Ono was up to. You
I
know?
don't really get it either.
Have you seen the video of her on? It's her and John Lennon and your man. You play like rock around the clock. Chuck Berry.
Mm.
And they're playing like blues music, and then she's has like a tambourine, and she's just like wailing in the corner.
I think the thing that's cool about Yoko Ono is that you could be confronted with like the biggest band in the world for white people,
Yeah.
at least, and you could just be like, I don't actually care. Do you know what I mean? Like, and you're just whanging the tambourine, just saying like, you should do this. It's like, you know, the biggest. Who'd you say is the biggest artist in the world right now, comparable to the Beatles?
Comparable to the Beatles.
Yeah.
No one, man.
Yeah, man,
Beatles?
they don't make them like they used to.
I would say the biggest band in the world are Maroon 5.
Yeah. And I even though as an example, okay, like Maroon 5 are probably like are fucking stupid and lame and bad, okay? But if you put me in a room with Maroon 5 and you're like, oh, you're just hanging out with the band while they record an album, I wouldn't get up over to the dials and be like, no, we need to be doing different shit here. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't be able to. You would know, like, you wouldn't.
You
You'd
need
be
to
like,
mix it
oh,
up a bit.
yeah. You wouldn't even be able to say. Like, they'd be like, how was that song? And just like fucking piss. And it was just like, yeah. I thought there's a lot to that, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Which you'd be like, I don't know. I don't know what you'd be doing. Just smashing up the mixing desk. Just turn them all up to 10. Just see what happens.
Yeah. I've taken out the 5th string on the guitar. Now play it again. Also, the bass is out of tune. I've done that also. I don't know what shit she does. I just think I like the element of Yoko Ono that's sort of anarchic, and you know, she seems like kind of New York scene person from a particular time, and she just is interesting. You know?
Yeah. It does seem like it's from a time when the line between like pop music and serious whatever hadn't really been drawn. You know what I mean? Like, you know the way, say like some mad artist turned up to like a Maroon 5. What was their big song?
Oh, which one? I mean, seriously. I think we need a name. This love has taken control of me. That's them.
Yeah.
It's
So
total on me.
someone turned up to that and was like, doing all mad stuff.
Yeah.
It was like, no, this has to be art.
Mm.
It would be like, it really doesn't. It
Yeah,
can just
yeah.
be like the music that plays in the toilets when the club is closing,
Mm.
But back then in the 60s, everyone was like, no, maybe this should be like, maybe there is no difference between, the incredibly inaccessible work of this artist and the Beatles.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
or like, let's say, the intersection with all of that stuff, where it's like, maybe this still happens, but like, I'm in the Beatles, so now obviously I'm going to go over and talk to the Dalai Lama.
Yeah,
Be like,
yeah.
how does that make sense? I love them. Kanye West is actually another good example of when he did that collaboration with Paul McCartney, and then basically just got him to play the guitar, and then just cut out all the shit that Paul McCartney did.
Yeah, he made a really good song out of it. But I think Paul McCartney found it very unpleasant.
I think actually Paul McCartney was like kind of indifferent to it, but Damon Albarn was very upset by it.
Oh, really?
I love that. My favorite thing was when, Kanye at like the height of his kind of fame, he was like, "Who's that guy?" Bon Iver was like had won a bunch of awards, and he's like, "Hey, I'm recording my Dark Twisted Fantasy in Hawaii or wherever he was. Why don't you come out here?" And then Bon Iver says he just went out and ended up playing like basketball for 2 days in Hawaii. And then at one point they were like, "Can you just say this bit on Monster?" And then that was it. That was like his whole contribution to the album. Was he did like there's some kind of surprising bit in Monster that I think Bon Iver does
I think
the vocals on. But like, what a funny thing to do, to be like, yeah, just fucking be around. Let's see what happens.
There's a thing with Slavoj Žižek and Harry Styles.
Mm.
And
That's interesting.
I don't know how it came about, but at some point, Harry Styles was going to be Zizek's, Zizek was going to be his mentor
Okay.
in philosophy. And then, one day, Styles just puts out, a tweet, and it's it literally just copied and pasted from Wikipedia. It's like Socrates was a philosopher born this year, from this year, who was known for this idea.
Mm.
And that's just the only evidence of this collaboration. Just one copy and paste tweet by Harry Styles.
And then he just gave up.
He just gave up. I don't know who gave up. I don't know if Zizek was like, "This is a bad idea now," or yeah.
I'm trying to find this thing. There was like, is that it? Yeah, I think this was it. Oh yeah. Jessica Lowndes. I don't know who they are, but they're like a model or something. And then as a bit, they just started getting pictured everywhere with John Lovitz.
Who's John Lovett?
John Lovett's the guy who's like, he's used to be on Saturday Night Live. Do you ever remember Rat Race?
Yeah.
Movie Rat Race. Do you remember The Family? He was like the dad in The Family. He was like,
Yeah.
"It's Hitler's car, honey." And so she just got photographed a bunch with him, and they just pretended they were dating for a while as a big bit, which is
It's
incredible.
a bit.
Yeah, because eventually they just on the chat show circuit going, "Yeah, we just did it as a goof." And I was like, what a funny thing to do. This woman, this beautiful woman, just dating John Love is like, "Yeah, I'm 58 and I'm dating a 27-year-old." He's amazing. I obviously I love John Lovett's politics, and if anybody knows anything about John Lovett's politics, then they'll know That's a joke. But he, anytime he appears in something, he's always like, he's got something that's very funny, interesting, weird. Because I watched the movie Southland Tales recently, and this is like from 2006 or something.
Yeah, I know it.
Oh, have you seen it?
Seen bits of it.
But he plays like
up in it. Too strange.
he plays like a racist cop with dyed blonde hair, and like he's a menacing evil man in this. And then they kind of try in Southland Tales. They try to set up this. I can't remember what it is, but it's some sort of police harassment thing where they're like, oh, we're just going to fake that the police came in and shot this guy, and we're going to use this guy who we have in the LAPD to pretend to do it. But then John Lovitz shows up on the scene first and just shoots the black guy like straight in the head immediately. And they're like, oh my God, you killed him. And he just starts executing everybody to make sure there are no witnesses. And it's like John Lovitz from Rat Race, where it's like just... I'm trying to think of a line in Rat Race that he had. I know he did it. He was in The Simpsons. He's the one, he played the theater director, the one who directed The Streetcar Named Desire.
I remember the episode.
He also played the critic. You remember?
Yes. John Lovitz, young. What are you drinking?
Diet Coke, which I know I shouldn't be doing, but I'm sorry. Came with the takeaway, all right? What was I meant to say? No?
Do you ever notice that?
It's part of the deal.
What? Do you ever notice that trend? What takeaway did you get?
Curry corner. And I got,
Curry corn.
I got a kebab. Doner kebab. Meal deal. €12. Comes with a can. Hey, I've already paid for it.
There's a funny trend online, you see, where whenever anyone posts a picture of a young actor, like a young, like say someone posts a picture of a young John Lovitz, and they'll be like, wow, he was actually really good looking.
Mm.
And it's just like, he's just unexpectedly not horrible looking, is really what's happening. Like, he just looks so bad now that... in your mind, you're like, oh, he's actually, compared to now, he's a good looking man.
He's got a full head of hair, which means he's beautiful.
Yeah. I wonder whose idea it was. Jessica, what's her name? Jessica Lukowski.
Jessica Lowndes. Oh, right. Who did the dating?
Yeah.
I have to believe it was her idea because I don't think he's particularly engaged with anything now.
Well, then it was funny to be like, wouldn't it be funny if I pretend to go out with you because you're so horrible? You're so horrible looking.
And he's like, yes, it would, because I am horrible looking. That would be hilarious.
Yeah.
Have you seen the picture of them at the beach? Like, he's there and he's just got this fucking gut hanging out and she's like an actual model. Very funny.
Yeah. And he has that mad, like, body where it's all really tight. As in, like,
yeah,
his belly is, like, tight. It's like a drum.
Yeah. Still looking good for his age, though. I'm surprised. Do you know who's looking really bad? Paul Reynolds. Paul Reynolds. Yeah.
I actually don't know what he looks like these days.
Paul Reynolds.
Yeah. Oh yeah, him. Doesn't look that bad.
No, he does. Like, compared to, you put up a video on Instagram of him interviewing Jerry Hutch back when? 2001 or something.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's 20 years, but Jesus, I mean, even Jerry Hutch doesn't look that bad, and he looks pretty fucking bad.
Jerry Hutch nearly looks younger now. Like, he looks healthier for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, I was shocked at that video. Looking at the mug, he was like deep crevices in his face.
Yeah.
Like, his face is like half in shadow, just because of like the other bits of his face. And then now I think he grew a beard to cover up most of it. That's a good interview though.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, like, why did you post that? Just because I was watching it, I was like, okay, I'm going to see something interesting. And I wouldn't say that I saw something boring, but I didn't see anything that jumped out at me as, like, very interesting, you know?
I think I just like the monk. You know?
I like the idea that Paul Reynolds sucks so much that he's just like, so everybody believes that you robbed this bank. So what do you have to say to that? And he goes, well, I didn't. I mean, the media just say I did. So,
yeah.
And then he goes, yeah, but the media, aka me, say that you did it. So what do you think of that? And he's just like, what are you asking me exactly? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah. And then I like the bit where Paul Reynolds is like, so you had no money, yeah. And then you had this claim and you became a millionaire, yes. At the same time that there were these robberies that you were linked to. Yes. He's like, yeah, those robberies I was linked to, yeah. He's just so brazen, you know?
I know this is so stupid, but this is my immediate reaction all the time is in like, this guy's going up here like, you know, you robbed from that bank. Everybody believes it. The guards believe it. The community believe it. And then I was like, I would love an interview like that with like one of the Anglo guys. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like there's just no banker who just like rinsed everybody. Like, they would never be treated like that because it just wouldn't come into anybody's head. It would be like you'd have to catch them out in a clever gotcha. Do you know what I mean? So you're trying to tell me this? Interesting. You know, they wouldn't be haranguing them, just being like, you know, everybody knows you did this. How do you live with yourself? You know.
Yeah. Yeah, they never outright accuse them because they'd be too worried about like defamation or something.
Yeah. But also because they don't care to. I mean, I honestly do believe that it's because this guy looks like, you know, oh, he's a working class Howie and fuck him. He doesn't, you know, money doesn't look good on him. It looks proper on the Anglo guy because he's like me, do you know?
Yeah.
So, we have a correction to make from last week.
You do.
From last 2 episodes ago. I do, actually, yeah. A listener to the show, Mark Maloney, said, we were talking about Eurovision, and I said that Erica Cody, I thought that, was she trying to get the Eurovision slot so she could then walk away from it at a crucial time? And then he said, it's important to remember that she was actually in Women in Harmony and took off the badges on the Late Late Show when she was asked to do
it. What is Women in Harmony?
Is this a reference to
some show?
Do you remember asking that
what?
2 times already?
To what? I asked her to what? To who?
In the Late Late Show, Women in Harmony performed, and they were asked to remove any Palestinian badges or anything like that, and they did so they could perform Sinead O'Connor's Nothing Compares to You.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Erica Cody is in Women in Harmony.
Okay.
So Mark was pointing out that no, she's not trying to get to Eurovision so that she can pull out of Eurovision at a crucial moment that fucks up the contest and make a big statement.
Yeah.
Which is what I had speculated. So apologies for that, everybody.
What about...
That's it.
What's that group called? Thug and Bones in Harmony or something?
Thug and Bambi Thug.
No. Isn't there a song called like... Oh yeah, there's a group called Bone Thugs and Harmony.
All right.
Ever heard of them?
Nope. No.
Yeah, they're a Eurovision entry. They're non-binary. But it doesn't matter now. They have they're allergic to seafood.
Mm.
Do you think that's bullshit? What do you think?
No, I think they probably did get sick from shellfish, and it's like, all right, back at it now to perform my terrible song for these people who are like. Also, they forget about the thing where it's like this is like the semi-finals. It's like we're still competing to get into Eurovision.
What?
So they're probably like, yeah. So they're not even like necessarily going to be in Eurovision, and they're still like, got to keep going, got to do it because the music's got to get out there. And it's like, once they lose, it'll be like, okay, well.
No, I will boycott it with the rest of you.
Did you see that picture I put in the chat as well of they recorded like a little video and they did their little protest? I'll send it to you again. He is blowing his nose, folks.
Who was doing this?
Bambi Thug. And I'll send this to you if my WhatsApp ever fucking loads. Alright. Here it is again. Check the group chat.
Yeah, I do every week. You know, the other podcasts, you know, what's the name?
Which one?
You know, the other one.
What's up?
The other podcast.
Holistic.
No. Thingy's in it. The guy who kept reading out about how many people died every day in COVID. And then the nerd.
Echo chamber.
The nerd as well, he's in it. And the woman.
Echo chamber?
And the woman.
Oh, the fucking group chat. The group chat.
The ghoul, the nerd, and the woman. That's what they should have called it.
Yeah. Check out Bambi Thug's amazing protest there.
Oh yeah. The Ohm script on her face reads ceasefire.
Yeah.
Except it doesn't. Oh wait, yeah, it's written bottom to top. That's incredibly useful for the two complete nerds who speak Ohm or can read Ohm.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, no.
Really sticking it to them. Really
Yeah.
showing them what. Although they've already said that they're banning Palestinian flags. Like you can't bring it. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously that was going to happen. So I don't even know why I'm fucking bringing it up. But just the idea of like, well, I'm going to smuggle in my own little Palestinian flag, and then they'd be
Yeah.
like, yeah, no, I read Ohm or whatever the fuck that is as well. Just wipe your face before you go
Yeah.
up there. Thank you, please.
Yeah. Also, to go through all that and then still just write ceasefire.
Yeah, it's not even free Palestine.
I'd be writing fuck Jews, you know?
Yeah, obviously.
No one's
Yeah.
reading it anyway. You know what I mean? Just, whatever.
Yeah.
What's the point of them anyway? We were always told it was like before people knew how to write, they just scratched words into a stone.
I don't even know what the fuck that is, I'll be honest. I thought it was just some like Harry Potter shit that was going on.
You thought it was a Harry
Avada Kedavra.
Potter thing?
No, I didn't. I just figured it was some online nerd shit that I didn't really care to investigate.
This is funny. When you go to the Wikipedia page for the picture used is like an inscription found at Rat Ass Church in Tralee.
That sounds like me on a fucking Friday night, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. But the Rathurst.
Rathurst.
It's like a... Well, we always told us before people knew how to write, they just scratch lines, into a tree or a rock or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's like one line across means this, and 2 lines across means that. 3 lines across means,
Party time.
yeah. I went to the Trinity. Trinity has been, have you heard about this?
You seen this? You heard about this? That? I have seen it, and I have heard about it. Yes.
It's a religious university in Ireland, maybe in the world, and the students took over the front building and the Book of Kells.
Yeah.
So, like, the college is closed, and Americans are just... Whenever you walk, I've tried to get in, and campus is closed. And then you just see, like, Americans queuing up outside, just absolutely appalled that they can't go to see this book. Like, we heard about this book 20 minutes ago, and you're telling us we can't see it?
Yeah, and it's also, by the way, they're like, oh, it's the protesters' fault we can't see it. No, it's Trinity's fault you can't see it, because it shouldn't even be in Trinity in the first place. It should be in a fucking museum that you can go. And I was talking to some fella the last day, and Mark Maloney will know who he is.
Who?
It's Mark's. I don't even know what the fuck relation he is to him, but somehow I met a member of Mark Maloney's extended family who was saying that I was bringing the kids to go see the Book of Kells. He's like, for the 3 of us, it cost 65 quid. 65 quid to go and see the fucking Book of Kells, and you don't even know what page is going to be open. Do you know?
Yeah, and then there is a video of a guy who's trying to negotiate with the students. And he's like, you made your point, but we have paid to go see the Book of Kells. So we are hearing you, but you aren't hearing us.
Interesting.
And then they piled a load of benches up outside the entrance to the Book of Kells. And those benches are like, someone paid 50 quid 30 years ago to have their loser dad's name written down. And all the comments are just like, how dare you? How dare you move those benches? Someone paid for that bench. We're like, that bench is in memory of someone. It's like, who cares? Like, they didn't burn the bench. They just moved the bench.
Also, like, what if my name was on that bench and they were like, yeah, we're using it to block the Book of Kells? I was like, good, thank you for that.
Yeah.
I'm dead, but thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd be in limbo because you never got baptized.
Yeah.
With all the babies.
That is true. Me hanging out with a bunch of babies.
Yeah. Forever.
Actually, that sounds horrible.
Yeah, I'd be in heaven.
I was going to say... No, I wasn't going to say anything because I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, yeah, the one thing that we forgot to mention is the reason that the thing is happening is because Trinity are fining the Students' Union €214,000 because they say there's lost revenue from them blocking the Book of Kells.
Yeah.
So that's how the encampment got started in the first place.
Yeah, I was talking to someone who is in Trinity. They got these emails. Yeah, somebody who's still in college, my girlfriend, 19 years old, was telling me about these emails she was getting from her lecturer.
And obviously I met her before that. She's a first year now. So.
I helped her get in. Yeah. And the head of the college sent out an email to everybody. And it was funny, like, I don't know who the head is, but they tried a few things. And they were like, these protesters are trying to undermine Trinity's reputation. So that affects your future too, because you go here. And then they were like, and by the way, I've heard tell of a toxic culture in the student union. Like, who told her that word? Toxic, you know?
The Israelis, that's their favorite thing at the moment. Everybody is saying this is toxic over in America. This is toxic in the UK. There's toxic. And it's all... I was finding this funny because there are a lot of like the kind of hardline Trinity lecturers. They like hate this. They're like, fuck these people, for doing this. I don't know how I'm going to be able to articulate this, but the whole sort of like air quotes woke language and woke ideology. And they're like, yeah, these guys they're setting up there on the campus, and then they'll go home to Mammy to get their meals because I'm so woke and I'm a socialist and I'm this, that, and the other. And then it's like, the Israelis are like that. They've tried that because they'll be like, these fucking blue-haired LGBTQ plus can't tell what a fucking woman is, and then they'll be supporting the Israelis who will be like flying an LGBTQ flag over the rubble in Gaza and going like, finally, I've asked my boyfriend to marry me on top of this Palestinian rubble. That, and it's like, it's just like so revealing that the only thing that you like is, I don't know, just hurting people, like.
Yeah, it could be like, you can imagine like Piers Morgan and he's like, in Gaza they don't even recognize gay marriage.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't care about gay people at all. Like, if they were recognizing gay marriage in any other country, it'd be given out. But
there's also, like, an aesthetic, which is because, like, there was a guy who, it was a picture, his profile picture is a big Palestinian flag, and I kind of partially quoted him there, but he was the one going, like, spoiled brats hanging out on campus, just talking to each other, lazing about the place, and then they'll go home and have their mother make them dinner. And I was like, it's funny how there's a certain type of person that they just hate regardless of what they're standing for. It's like, you're in like complete alignment here, but you're like, these fucking posh assholes. These, LGBTQ plus diversity. Ugh. It's like, what a weird thing. It's just so that actually, to talk about like how confused the politics of Sinn Féin is now. I don't know if you want to get into that, but that recent poll.
Oh yeah, I'm not talking about the poll that the blue hairs are dancing on
or smoking. Yeah.
We're talking about red. What's it called? Red
Sea poll or something? I don't know.
Sea poll.
Ireland thinks or some shit. Well, like, first things first, last week we mentioned a statistic where they were going 80% of the migrants who came down from the north of Ireland. See, I'm being very careful with my language. And then they're like, Rishi Sunak goes, that means the Rwanda policy is working. And then Helen McEntee goes like, the Rwanda policy is working, and that means that we need to shift them back over there. And it's like, the only person I saw who said...
Why did you deepen your voice for Helen McEntee?
I don't know. It was unintentional. But I was surprised that the only person who said, like, one of those moments where Micheál Martin is kind of like lucid, where he'll just say something and just go like, he basically just said, what the fuck does 80% mean? What does like where does this coming from? What does this mean? Like, and then the other thing was like, how do you know that they weren't always intending to come to Ireland in the first place? Do you know, like, it's a completely bullshit thing that Helen McEntee allowed herself to become. Like, she accepted it, then she gets into this back and forth with Rishi Sunak, and then Rishi Sunak uses it as a bit of like, kind of, like he was trying to act like a tough guy on the news. He was like, "That's Ireland's problem. We're not taking them back." And like, the only people he feels confident about being like a strong man towards. It was crazy. But anyway, the
So
point.
you cut out there.
The
Cut out
point.
for like 20 seconds.
We need to figure this out. This is not sustainable.
They did not sort it out, so abandoned recording and met up again the next day to record again. This is that recording.
Recording.
Welcome to Celtic Ligers.
Yes.
Mhm. Where does a liger live?
In a cave.
In a cage.
In a cave.
Oh.
In a cage in a cave.
It'd be cool if they lived underground.
Yeah, like Sonic. Yeah, and Sonic Underground. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I think that was underground in the political sense.
Yeah, he was part of the resistance.
Yeah, like
Hashtag
us.
resistance.
Yeah, just like us.
Yeah.
Mark O'Halloran was the big one for hashtag resistance.
Is that the one in Adam and Paul?
Yeah.
That's funny. He was big on Ukraine as well. He was kind of he said some very saber rattling things about the war in Ukraine.
I know the war in the Ukraine one is so annoying because it's like, obviously war is bad and it's very hard on Ukrainians. But the whole response is like, we should develop nuclear bombs. Like, we should militarize ourselves. It's such the response is so like saber rattling, like you say, and it's also very so much propaganda, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean,
Like, do you remember for a while it was like, Putin's dying, so he's lost his mind, and that's why he's invading Europe. And and then it was that classic thing of at the same time he's like a lunatic, he's completely insane.
yeah.
And then he's also like a cold, calculating individual.
Also, he's weak and he'll be defeated.
Yeah. Yeah. But also he could like invade Ireland.
Yeah.
You know? And it was just that thing of you're so aware that you're getting propaganda that it's just hard to care.
Yeah.
Because you just don't know the reality of the situation at all.
Yeah.
And then you have all those people who are like calling Russians orcs and stuff.
Yeah, and then there'd be stuff that Zelensky was doing, which was like, outlawing opposition parties, all the Nazis that are present in all these kind of pictures in Ukraine.
Did he postpone elections?
Yeah, and also...
Did he?
I believe he did. I mean, Ukraine is not my topic. I like, for the reasons that you just outlined there, is pretty much why I check out, because I don't feel like I'm going to get particularly honest coverage about this. But like certain things, we're a vibes-based podcast, and the vibes are off when it comes to this stuff. Like, you'll just...
Yeah.
Do you know that feeling where I was looking at it recently with the Dan's mixtape?
Yeah.
Woo. Yeah.
Now, what's it really called? You've completely cut out there on me.
Somehow I turned off my microphone. Sorry about that.
What's it called? I ask as he turns off his mic and tells me.
Yeah, the wokerati trying to silence me again. It's called
It's called like the One Love podcast or something.
Not One Vote. One Love.
No one vote or not one vote?
Not one vote. But they, there's a demonstration, like a far right demonstration that happened there a few days ago, or maybe yesterday in Dublin. It was yesterday. And so Dan was at it and he filmed it, And
oh, great.
And then Tommy Robinson shared it and with his fucking Union Jack, and he's like, the Irish are taking Ireland back. And some Sinn Féin person in Belfast just tweeted like, yeah, good job, guys. You know what I mean? First of all, anybody in Sinn Féin at present who is throwing shade at people for being politically confused might want to check themselves there. But the thing is, underneath it, like, just a lot of the coverage that I've seen about it, people are like, I really went in a long-winded way of saying that, look at what you're standing next to. Like, I don't pick that many pieces of shit out of our movement to be like, I know we have that guy who says we should like crack a bunch of, foreigner skulls, but like but we're normal and we have legitimate concerns, It's like you have so many people that you expect me to ignore to make your point valid, And it's the same with like Ukraine, where it's just like, no, we're fighting a just war. It's like, is that Hitler? To quote the IT crowd, unfortunately. But where it's just like, okay, that is a Hitler, but like that's beside the point. That's one guy. That's nothing to do with the whole movement, And you're just like, how many people? Yeah. Anyway, but the other thing they did there recently is the American Prestige podcast is a very good podcast to listen to for what's going on in Ukraine. But they did an episode where essentially they were checking in on how the war was going, and this woman's like, oh, it's fucking done at this stage. It's in this quagmire. It's not going to go anywhere. They need too much money. They're not going to be able to push people back. The only way to do this is through some sort of peaceful negotiations, but they just insist that Putin is an evil man who cannot be reasoned with. And but the main thing is that all of the people, there's conscription now. There's people who are being forced to go out and fight and die in this kind of impossible battle, and then the Polish government, I think we mentioned this already, but they were saying, hey, we got some military-aged men over here, we can fucking send them back to you. So like they're trying to help them with the conscription, and it's just like, it's just such an awful time. And I think that they've broadened the demographics for it as well. Like you can be quite old now and still be conscripted, and young.
Anyway. Yeah.
Did you
I'm glad
see?
We don't have conscription here.
I think you'd like it, but it was a video. I put it in the chat. But it was Breach Smith. The way that they're determined to get rid of the triple lock. They're like, we need to get rid of this thing where it says that. But like they're actively doing it, and so Breach Smith was like, your. Basically, she just did the usual thing of giving out to Micheál Martin, but this time he really was affected by it. He got very upset, and he actually reverted to teacher mode, because the way he used to be a teacher, and he starts talking to her like, I'll have to play the video. Can I play the video? Can I please play the video?
You can play the video.
I'm just looking down through my articles as well. One other thing. Did you know Saoirse McHugh was running in the Euros? Isn't that, we should know that.
No.
I don't know. I just thought that was an oversight where it's like, how successful is that campaign if or like everybody I follow and know and who's talking about politics should be said that Saoirse McHugh is running. You know what I mean? I've no idea why. I don't know. I just thought that was an interesting.
Yeah. How about you?
Yeah.
Runs the
which
skinny
you debated.
cool.
Okay. You told me that we couldn't laugh at that, so I don't know why you're bringing it up now. We were talking about Luke.
When did I say we couldn't laugh at that?
You said because the photo potentially existed that we couldn't laugh at it because it was image-based sexual abuse. So, hey, I didn't make your rules.
Well, my feelings have evolved on the matter. Let's just put it that way.
All right. Actually, this video is a lot longer than I remembered it being.
Can't believe I got called out on my own podcast for being a hypocrite of all things.
That's the one thing on this podcast. We are not hypocrites.
The gloves are off. There's been a lot of stuff I let slide. All right, play this clip.
False. You just mentioned, was I going to send Irish troops out
I asked you, where do you want to send them? Where do you want to send them after you lift the triple lock?
I didn't interrupt now. I'm entitled through the chair to argue to the House.
Wow. What incredibly insight will the Ligers have on this clip? You'll just have to go to patreon.com/CelticLigers, and for just €5 a month you get the rest of the episode, where they also talk about Newtown, Mount Kennedy, the town with a stupid name and stupid racists, a graph about American influence on the Irish far right. Or is it? It is. Finally, the Soak Dems Israeli candidate is gone but not forgotten. For being a Dumbo.